Louisiana Beer Review Special Edition Iron City Premium Lager. Family owned, brewed here. This is actually not brewed here, but it's brewed there. Brewed in Latrobe, Pennsylvania by Pittsburgh Brewing Company, ironcitybeer.com. But now they have their brewery up and running, so it is brewed here in Pittsburgh. I mean, if I was in Pittsburgh. Okay, so Iron City Beer from Pittsburgh Brewing Company today. Union made. 1861. It's gone through a lot of changes over the years. For many years it was contract brewed in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, right? So it wasn't, the old Iron City Brewery was demolished. Or abandoned and repurposed, I don't remember. So, the beer drinker's beer. The beer drinker's beer. Well, it can't be my... Oh, it's a twist cap, sorry. It didn't seem to be. It's not sold in Louisiana. I've never seen it in Louisiana. I bought one in Florida one time. This bottle, it's starting to fade. The red, you know, red always fades. This beer was sent to me by Dr. Dave in Ohio, so apparently they can get it in Ohio, the neighboring state. So thank you, Dr. Dave. He sent me a great set of gifts. So here it is. It's very bubbly. It's a straw appearance with a white head. So typical yellow fizzy stuff, is, if you want to call it lager. Lagers, adjunct lagers. 140 calories, 4.7% alcohol, same as Miller Genuine Draft. There is an IC Light. You might be saying, let me try different things. You might say, like, you might be saying, I was a Bud Light drinker for years, but I'm looking to transition to some other light beers pretty swiftly here. So Iron City, if you live in that area, might be a good alternative. I've never had it. I see it advertised at Pittsburgh Pirates games, you know, on television at the stadium. Yeah, typical aroma, the fermented grains, the kind of musty fermented grains, which you would get in any of these things that I have around here. Okay, so the aroma is nothing to take note of in that sense. Like, it's not remarkable. It's expected. All right. So let's go with, it's like the regional breweries, the old the old Dixie beer from Louisiana, or Jack's, no longer made. Neither one is made. Pearl, another regional brewery from Texas. Yuengling, a former regional brewery from Pennsylvania. So they all had their breweries, but they all made basically the same style with some slight alterations, but generally practically the same. Except Dixie was a rice lager, not corn, and it was aged in cypress barrels, which was unusual. Did it give it a slightly different flavor? It did, but not a profoundly different flavor, I wouldn't say. Same type flavor, white bread, very low bitterness. They don't even mention IBUs on the website. Easy drinking. If you want to say dull or bland, plain, yeah, they're designed to be like that actually, because these beers are made for a pool tournament, bowling league, barbecue outside. I would be outside. It's a little cold and a little chilly and it's overcast. It's not really worth going outside. Watching a baseball game, these type of things. It's not there. People are not buying this to sit down and, oh, let me look over it, admire it, and smell it, taste it, get the body, the mouthfeel, and the finish. That's just not that type of product. Okay. Anchor Beer was the old San Francisco regional brewery. Then it failed after time with kind of mismanagement, and so they reimagined their brewery in 1971 as a craft brewery. So that was very successful for them, and then they eventually sold out to a Japanese company. The brewery formerly known as Dixie down here is still family owned, but it's a different family. It has had a few families So now it's owned by a woman who also owns the New Orleans Saints professional football team and the New Orleans Pelicans professional basketball team, interestingly. Her husband and her bought those three businesses: Dixie Brewing, New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans. But he passed away at age 90. She was a good deal younger than him, so she's still running the show. Okay, so nice lacing. Now let's go with the flavor. Waste Management's here already this morning, so garbage men, early start. Sort of a, if you want to say flavorless type thing, but like I said, that would apply to most everything in this room. Most everything, not everything. Bitterness, if it's 1 out of 5 hop cones, I'd be shocked. Sweetness, 2 out of 5 sugar cubes at the most, maybe not even that high. So it's a very dry beer, meaning not sweet, and it's going to finish crisp. The mouthfeel is medium. Now when I had the beer, when I had this one that I bought in Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, years ago, maybe in 2011, I can't remember. I had revisited this in 2021. It was sent to me. Then I did a dual review, and my friend David was very pleased with it. But we weren't overwhelmed by, oh, it's just amazing. It's, like I said earlier in the video, it's not made to be amazing. It wasn't too good, though, back when I tried it from Florida. I gave it a C. It was sort of, I don't think it was Tallahassee, now that I recall. I think it was like around Fort Lauderdale that I bought it. But it's hard to remember because I'm always stopping. If I go to Florida and I drive from the Pensacola all the way down to Key West, I'm going to be stopping. Everywhere I stop, I'm scouting the beers and liquor. So then you start to lose track of where, unless it's something really strange like Red Horse Lager. I can remember exactly what store I was in to get the Red Horse beer and what city or what town. Actually, Florida City is no more than a small town. But yeah. But it wasn't too good then. I gave it a C. But apparently the City Brewing improved their and that holds true for all the City Brewing beers. Honestly, all of them improved over the years. So they did a lot of work to make their products better. Now this is pretty much the last run. Don't see a date, guys. And I would say to any brewery, you need to put the damn date. That chaps my chapstick. I mean, when you don't put the date, that's horse hockey. Brown bottle, good. Don't have skunking. Of course, skunkiness is sort of almost like a mythology in this, in a way, because Stuart Pickard, Gin Rail Trail, who used to do video reviews, he said to me one time, he said, just pour it in a glass, and if you wait 1 minute, the skunk will go away, whether it's a clear or green bottle. And I had never done that. I'd always smell it immediately. And I tried his method, and sure enough, he was right. It didn't stay. So that's sort of overblown. But I had to learn. So this beer is probably not super fresh. Probably the last of the 2022 bottlings. On the other hand, it doesn't taste old, really old or bad or anything like that. I mean, a lighter beer like this at 4.7, you let it stay 2 or 3 years, it's going to really deteriorate. And you're not going to be dealing with much positive. You're not going to be dealing with a positive experience. So how would I score this? It's nice. I'll say a B. Let's say 84 out of 100. 8.4 out of 10. It's a good beer, but as with all beers like this, you should only shop price. I mean, unless you collect cans and bottles like myself. So yeah, of course you want to buy it to get the can and bottle in the collection. And then, unfortunately, after time, the red will fade. Usually, if there's any kind of light hitting it. I don't mean direct sunlight, like any kind of light over time, it's going to fade. And then if you do video reviews like myself, and I did written reviews before video reviews, of course you buy them so you can do the review and see what it's like. And then with these you say, oh yeah, just like the others. But probably it's a little inferior to, say, your national brands. Can't say why exactly. Could just be that they don't have a big scale, and so maybe they don't have the budget to buy the best barley malt or the best adjuncts or the best grade of hops, perhaps. But would it be something to buy if you could get it for significantly cheaper than the major brands? Oh, definitely. It would certainly be a good substitute. If you're saving $5 per case, you're losing a little, but then the trade-off, you haven't really lost anything when you consider all the factors in the balancing act. So if I could get this as a standby everyday drinker, the non-speculative beers, certainly I'd buy it. If the price was lower. If they're going to price point it almost like a quasi craft beer because it's local, small batch beer company, then you have to say, wait a minute. And that's the thing with the brewery formerly known as Dixie. They put out some products, a lager and so forth. The craft beers, okay, they're at craft beer prices, no problem. IPAs, golden ales and all that, fine. But to take an ordinary craft beer and then try to position it like it's a Michelob all malt lager, I'm not seeing too many people biting on that, okay? And my impression is not doing very well since the change over to the new name. A lot of people felt very hurt by that, betrayed. And I can understand that because I felt the same way. And they basically said, if you're going to do this to me, after all this heritage since 1907, I'm not buying it. I don't need it. I only bought it really to help the company because it was local and it was the heritage. And if that's the way it's going to be, fine. So then the company even announced they had excess capacity. There were even days, many days during the month where it was idle, not producing anything. So what does that tell you? They didn't have the sales to justify producing. There's no point in producing beer that's going to sit on the shelf, collecting dust. So they started contract brewing for other companies. And then they even bought, I say they, really she even bought a group of craft beer companies from Georgia, I believe Georgia and the Carolinas, and shut down their operations. I guess sold off the equipment on an auction and moved all the production to New Orleans. And that had some people in the Carolinas very enraged. And how that's going to pan out, I do not know. And furthermore, I really do not care. Okay, but anyway, back to this. It's fine. 84. A good beer, and that's all I can say about it. It's a good beer, and you can't really say nothing else about it. So if someone asks me, what do you think about Iron City? I'd say, it's good. They'd say, that's it. I'd say, yeah, that's about it. So laissez-les bon temps relais, and I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and tour the Pittsburgh Brewery.